What's up, fuckers? I'm back. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tyron here. Welcome back to another episode of Family Feud. And, well, you know, it's been 5 months, I think. Five months. Now, you don't see the pop filter here because the thing was a little bit annoying. So, if the audio is just a little bit too loud, you know, I'm a little bit sorry. I'll kind of just testing this new thing out. It's the same mic, literally the same mic. Just don't have the pop filter because the pop filter just blocks basically everything with this. And I know, you know, people want to see my ugly ass face in my videos, so bam, there you go. So I know it's been like it's been quite a while. It's been months. It's been really well needed, actually. Thank God. I kind of took a little bit of a break from YouTube. Nothing really major happened at all like that. But I'm back for, you know, however long. No, it'll be a while. It'll be for a little bit. Mainly the thing I'm just gonna keep doing that I can do right now is just story time videos, really like that, because I have some stories. And I actually, when I was doing, you know, by myself and shit, was I did some videos, so those will be uploads of like a couple months back, so I'll upload those, and then I'll start uploading just a little bit more whenever I have friends are online or plans like that. I can upload those, but that'll be kind of the main videos I upload for right now, until, you know, everything calms down. So hopefully you guys will definitely enjoy the storytime video that I did. It was probably one of the best ones I've ever done, one of the funniest and probably the longest. So sit back, relax, and watch this train wreck of a story that I told you. Alright, I'm gonna basically get the story off right now. I picked a long mission because this is kind of a long story. Yeah, of course, many people, you know, probably remember the redneck videos and stuff. Don't even ask why I don't have my headphones on. These things are kind of dying down a bit, so I really can't hear, so either way. But anyways, remember how I made those stories about the rednecks, like that? This was a while ago too, I know. Like that. I made 2 videos of them. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll definitely link them down in the description below, so you can go check those out. You don't really need to watch those videos in order to know what's happening with this one, but if you watch them, you know how I feel about them. So a little background story to all this. The high school that I went to was filled with redneck kids. I mean, filled all the time with redneck kids. And the way I felt about them was very, a little bit neutral on it, but majority of the time I really didn't like them. My senior year, so this kind of just how this all started off. This was like the end of my senior year, probably like I think April or May, like that. And I was like sitting in class. So how it was my 5th period. Now I know that probably sounds a little bit weird because maybe you have like 7 or 8 classes in, you know, your senior year, but for me I had 5 because, well, with me, how that my high school worked, if you had more than all your credits and stuff like that, you were able to, you know, take 4 or 5 classes and then just leave for the day. So literally my school day consisted of getting up at like 8:30, school started at 9:30, and then it ended at 1:30 for me. It was pretty cool. What happens is it's 5th period, you know, it's kind of the, you know, last part of the day, you know, it's the beginning of 5th period, and I'm like sitting with my friends and stuff, and I'm gonna, you know, change their names for the story, you know, for a little bit of privacy reasons, I guess, like that, because I'm pretty sure they don't want their names to be in this. But what happened is, my friend, I'll name him Brad for this story. Brad and Henry. It takes place with 2 characters in it. Well, 2 people, not characters. So what happens is, Brad comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to, you know, hang out after school and stuff? You know, it's a Friday. Let's hang out." And it was the day before prom, because prom was Saturday, which is, you know, the next day. So what happens is, because I wasn't going to it, and I guess they didn't know that, so they were like, "Yeah, let's just hang out after school." And like, I've known these kids for a while, and you know, I text my parents, like, "Hey, I'm gonna hang out with some friends after school," and they're like, "Okay, yeah, be safe. Just, you know, text us when you're on the way home." I was like, "All right." So it's 1:30. Brad and Henry have kind of the same schedule as me, similar, I guess, like that in a way, which meaning is they both have the next period off with me. They're kind of the same way. They both get out at 1:30, just, you know, like me. So what happens is we all go to the front office, we sign out, and we're on our way. We walk to the school's parking lot, or the student parking area, and of course. And the way I could describe it is, it's a very, very lifted truck with, it's a redneck mobile. And these two kids were, I think, the king of rednecks in my grade, and oh boy, were they. The way I could really describe their outfits every day were fishing shirts. Just fishing shirt or overalls. The way how I'm kind of dressed, which I guess would, a little bit pertain to the story. Like, I'm nicely dressed. Like, I have, like a nice button-up shirt on, nice pants, and nice shoes on. So, all that. And it's kind of weird to get into a fully lifted truck looking like that. I know it's weird. But what happens is, we just get in, and Brad's like, all right, so here's the plans for today. And, it's all normal plans. He's like, all right, Henry and I need to go to Men's Warehouse. And that's when I kind of tell him, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm really not going to prom tomorrow. You guys all have fun and stuff. And they're like, okay, yeah. So what happens is, it's like 1:30 at this time, 1:30, 1:45-ish, and we're leaving the school, and we're going to go to Brad's house, which is probably around, I think, like 30 minutes away, and it's a little ways from the school. And we gotta get to his house. His parents are out there. We kind of hang out for like a while. He shows me around his place. It's, a really nice place. It wasn't all fully rednecked out until, we reached the man cave, which there was a bunch of taxidermy shit everywhere. And oh boy, that was something to see, But we all hang out and stuff. We're just, hanging out on the couch talking, all that. And it probably around, like, I would say 3:30-ish, this is all going down. And it's kind of like nothing really happens there at all, and we kind of get ready probably around 4-ish to go in town, because it's a little ways in town. It's to Men's Warehouse, which it's like in a whole shopping center like that. It's really not that far, and I know the whole area. I know where all we're going, so like, I don't feel weird or strange like that. Like, this is the first time I've been actually hung out with these friends. Like, I've known them at school and stuff for like years, but I've never hung out with them fully. So what happens is, like, we all get ready to go around 4-ish, and Brad's phone's like blowing up like a lot. And I ask him, like, not to be, invasion of privacy, but it was like, what's going on with your phone? And he's like, oh yeah, some friends, we're gonna meet up with them, like, after, probably like this evening. And so I was like, okay. Like, he names the people, and then I'll name them shortly later in the video, because they're gonna play a key part in this, don't worry. What happens, we get to Men's Warehouse, and it's probably like around almost like 5. We get to Men's Warehouse, and it's probably like around 5 or 5:30-ish, and what happens is, we're kind of just all hanging around just because they're helping with other people. And this is, I guess, this isn't when, like, the night got fully crazy, but it got a little bit interesting. So, around that time, I hear, like, a bunch of familiar voices walk in, like, a few of them, and then I hear, like, a roar of people, and it turns out it's majority of my class, because, like I said, prom is tomorrow. So some of them are walking in, getting all, their suits for tomorrow, tuxes and all that shit like that. And because I recognize majority of those kids. So I recognize majority of the kids, and it's a little bit awkward because they don't see me just yet, and they know how I am, that I don't hang out with the redneck kids. I know, like, I make fun of them and everything like that. I wasn't embarrassed, but it was a little bit strange, and I wasn't ready for them to just see who I was with. And unfortunately, they did finally recognize me. They because I kind of, like, I wouldn't say hide, but just was looking at all the suits and act like, I was, blended in a way. And one of them recognized me, and he was just asking, what are you here for? And I'm like, because I kind of knew I wasn't going to prom. Because they knew I wasn't going to prom and stuff, so they were just, wondering why I was at Men's Warehouse on a Friday before prom. So what happened was, I just kind of told them that I was here for emotional support for, my friends, and they knew I was friends with Brad and Henry, but they didn't, expect me. So yeah, I kind of chatted with, some of my classmates and stuff like that. We're kind of out the door. Like, Brad's like, all right, we got what we needed. We're gonna go now. So it's probably around, I would say, like almost like 6 at this time. It really didn't take that long. And we're all three of us are hungry and stuff like that. So there's a Cane's, which is, you know, if you don't have that in your state or wherever you live, it's kind of like a chicken restaurant. So we go over there. It's we kind of meet up with our other friend and his girlfriend before they went to a movie, and we hung out with them there. After that, we just kind of hung out for a little bit, and it's probably around almost like 7 or 7:30 around this time. And you know, I kind of want to get home around like 10ish. Like I'm not the one to stay out late, and you know, I don't like all that stuff. I don't. And what happens is Brad gets a message on his phone, and it's me, Brad, and Henry sitting inside of his truck, unfortunately. And what happens is he gets a message, and he kind of looks a little bit concerned, and he just, you know, turns on the truck, and we're leaving immediately. And it's not like we're rushing out of the parking lot or anything. It's not speeding off in any way. But we kind of, you know, hightail it out of there just a little bit. And I asked him, I was like, Brad, what's up? He's like, all right, so, you know, Cassie, right? I'm going to name her that for this story. I was like, yeah, she's in our grade. He's like, all right, so she needs our help and stuff. I was like, why? Is she in trouble? Like, you know, something wrong? Cassie and I aren't really friends, but her and I know each other. So, you know, but I'm that person that kind of, you know, cares a little bit. And I asked him, I was like, what's wrong? He said, oh, it's nothing like, you know, wrong or anything. We're just going to meet her at, you know, this said gas station, which is kind of like the halfway point, I would say, between kind of where we were at and where the school was. So we went there, and it's probably around 8-ish at this time because, you know, we're a little bit of ways from there, probably like 45 minutes. Depending on traffic or anything. And you know, she knows who I am, like I said in the beginning. And I kind of don't want her to, you know, realize who I'm hanging out with. You know, I was kind of, I guess you would say, embarrassed a little bit if I'm, you know, turning redneck in a way, which, oh God in hell no, I was not. Her and Brad are talking, like, I really can't hear it too well or anything. I wasn't going to be, like, eavesdropping, like, it's not really a conversation I needed to be. Like, she seemed okay and everything like that. And she kind of turns her head over a little bit and where she can see me, and she's like, Nick, is that you? I'm like, fuck. I knew it was over. And Cassie's really not the popular person, but she would tell her friends, like, about who I was hanging out with, because her friends knew my friends, and, you know, all of that stuff like that. And it was a bit awkward. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? She's like, why are you hanging out with them? And she's like, I know who you hang out with and stuff. I was like, oh, emotional support. And, you know, that card played pretty damn well, actually. It played pretty well. She goes along with it. She, you know, agrees, you know, that, okay, you know, there's nothing really strange here. So what happens next is we all go to the next gas station. I don't know why. All I just hear is Brad say, follow me. And the next thing you know, she's right behind us. And I asked Brad, I was like, why are we going to the next gas station? He's like, like I said, it's nothing important. At this point, I'm kind of getting a little bit concerned at this point because I just don't know what the hell's going on. It's a bit strange. So what happens, this is when the night takes a turn. It gets worse, but this is when, you know, shit starts to get a little bit real. We go to the next gas station. It's probably like 8:30 at this time, and it wasn't really that far away. It was just, you know, probably like 10 minutes away. Happens is we go to this gas station, and Brad's filling up. Brad's like filling up the truck with gas, and we all kind of get out of the truck. It was like me, Brad, Henry, Cassie, and her sister. What happens is Brad's like, all right, here's the thing. Nick, how old are you? And at the time I was 19. And he's like, okay, cool, that's perfect. And I literally asked why. He's like, okay, because you're gonna buy like, none of us are like the legal age to buy cigarettes and stuff. I was like, no. I straight up told him, no, I'm not doing that. They handed me the money and stuff. They're like, yeah, go buy cigarettes for Cassie or something. I think it was cigarettes or a vape or something. And with me is, if you know me personally, I'm highly against all that stuff, including drugs and, you know, weed and all that stuff. I'm just highly against it, and I don't care for any of it. So what happens is I tell them no, and they kind of just, you know, keep pressuring me into it. I was like, no, it's not happening. And at that point, I think Cassie got a little bit pissy and stuff. She got, like, really upset. She got really annoyed. So what she did is she grabbed the money from my hand, and she said, you know, got into the car and literally sped off, like did almost like a burnout. And you know, I didn't feel bad at all. Brad and Henry actually weren't mad at me. And the thing that I asked was, we all kind of just, and we kind of still kept talking and stuff like that. And then when we all got back into the truck and we started leaving, I asked Brad, it was like, is she gonna be okay and stuff? Like, I didn't mean to like hurt her feeling. Derek and Rodney, I'll call them that because I don't know any of those names. I don't know any one of those names like that at all. But yeah, we're gonna go hang out with Derek and Rodney, which are the people that Brad was texting throughout the night, and like that. And we meet up with them. We drive back to the Men's Warehouse like shopping center area, and there's a Target there too. So we go over there and we meet up with Derek and Rodney. I had to think of their names. Derek and Rodney, and we needed to meet up with them. And like, I know one of them. I know Derek. I don't know Rodney. And apparently Rodney was a one of this school's ex-drug dealers, funny enough, and he was like 16 or something like that. So I knew it was gonna be a fucking night. I knew it would be. And yeah, but what happens is, like, we're all meeting up there. It's probably around 9:30 at this time. It's getting a little late. I'm like, and what happens is we get in the truck, and Brad gets a message on his phone. He's like, Nick, can you answer that for me? So when I look, and I'm gonna say, at the time I assumed it was his girlfriend, and I assumed right, and it was Brad's girlfriend. And Brad's like, who was it? It was like, oh, it's like that. And he's like, what did she say? And like, when I read it, I was like, I kind of didn't think I thought it was a joke. And it was like, come over with like, come over like that. And I was like, she said come over. And he's like, okay, that's where we're going. I'm like, oh, all right. And so like then he told me to text Derek. And then, they said, okay, we're going to go over there. So, like, where she lives is in the middle of fucking nowhere. So we start heading over to Brad's girlfriend's house. Like, I know who she is and stuff like that. I've seen them around, but I've never actually, like, talked to her or got to know her or anything. And I really didn't care to. So what happens is, we start working our way over there, and then we get there, and there was, like, no cars there. Like, the whole house was just dark. And it's like it's like a trailer in the middle of the woods. Like, it was in the middle of nowhere. And then we go up to like the dark house, and like we knock on the window, and then the porch light turns on, and and then she like opens the door. She's like, okay, and then she starts to kind of talk in a way, but then she realizes there's like four or five other guys with Brad, and she's like, who are all these people? And she just looked really concerned, or like shocked in a way like that. And Brad's like, oh, they're my friends, we're all hanging out for the day. She's like, okay, cool. I wouldn't say weirded out by us, but we're all just hanging out. It's around like 10ish to closing on 10:30, 10:15 around this time. And what happens is, it's just like, it's all of us. We're all sitting in the living room, and I realized her parents aren't there too. So I kind of assumed what was going on in this picture here like that. And what happens is, but we're all just sitting around, we're all hanging out, and we hear another knock at the door. The person who comes in, I did mention a whole video about him, and if I did release it beforehand, I'll leave it in the description below. But his name is, well, his real name's not Brian, but Brian walks in. If you know how Brian, holy shit, okay. If you know how Brian is, you know exactly how Brian is. He is the king of redneck. Was at my high school. He was legitimately the king of rednecks. And I mentioned him in another story. If you want to go, listen to that or watch it, feel free. It's actually a really good story. But what happens is I look, and he looks directly at me. What the hell are you doing in the bar? I was like, emotional support. That card didn't play this time with Brian, and Brian was like, what the 4150, yeah, partner, yeah, combine tractor. And then I was like, I'm here with Brad, and he's like, oh, okay, lifter truck. And then I was like, okay, cool. My mind puts two and two together immediately, and then I think of, oh shit. And then I started, I asked like Henry, I was like, so where's Brad at? And he kind of laughs in a way, like the guy's just laughing away. I was like, I'm kind of serious. Where are they? And kind of like right on cue, I started hearing these weird noises and shit like that. And then I kind of realized what the hell it was. And then I also do realize that Derek and Rodney aren't in the room either. So the way I kind of just, I kind of get up from the living room, and I start walking to where the noises are coming from, and then I do realize that Derek and Rodney are standing outside this door that's halfway cracked open, and then the closer I get, the more I realize what the hell it was, and it was female noises, and I was just like, wow. Okay, this shit's happening. I didn't walk any closer, but they were apparently just watching them go at it, which I guess rednecks do that. I really don't know. But guess what? It gets a lot worse from there. And I know you're probably thinking, how the fuck does it get worse from there? So what happens is the next part is we start heading to Derek's house, which is probably like, I guess, 15 minutes away and stuff. So it's probably around like almost midnight at this time. And again, it's in the middle of a fucking trailer park. Why am I shocked by that? Of course, no shit they are. So what happens is we go there, we hang out for a little bit and stuff like that. We're all hanging out on the back porch, and I kind of do realize that there's an RV in the back, and we're all hanging out just back there. They're chewing dip and doing redneck shit, and the next thing I know, I hear a door open, and it's not the door on the back porch where we're located. It's where the RV is in the back, and I realize that a shirtless man comes out that is a little bit overweight, and he walks over to us, and he does not like me at all. I don't know why. I guess it was, I was dressed a little too nice and shit like that. He doesn't like me at all. And, all of the guys are like, yeah, he's cool and stuff. Like, leave him alone. He's fine. So he's like, okay. And then he goes in and gets a beer, and then he hangs out with us. And then all of a sudden, he whispers in Brad's ear, and I notice it. A few minutes later, he's like, Brad whispers in everyone's else ear but mine. And what happens is, this is the part that really got fucking real. Brad takes me aside, and like a few minutes after all that, again, we're all chatting, there's really nothing going on. Brad takes me aside, he's like, okay, I know you're not gonna like this, but we're gonna have to do this only once, and this is gonna be the only time you're gonna have to do this in your life. And I'm, again, really fucking concerned what's gonna happen. And he's like, okay, so I'm gonna call him Joe for this story. The guy, the very shirtless, overweight man, that hardcore redneck. And I was like, yeah, the guy that just wanted to, really just didn't like me. He's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to go buy cocaine for him. My mouth dropped. I was just in complete shock for what I just heard. I was like, can I stay here? And that really wasn't an option, because, well, I kind of didn't want to stay there, and plus, I really don't know who else is in this house or in this neighborhood. I don't know this neighborhood at all, so, I'm a little bit concerned. And he's like, yeah, he's not going to let you go home until this all happens. All of us, all of us, and we're all squished in there, and I'm in the very back alone. And I could see out the windows and stuff. I could see out the front windows. It probably took us almost an hour and 30 minutes, 90 minutes, like an hour and 30 fucking minutes to get to this location, which is in the middle of nowhere, which I kind of knew. So I kind of knew where we were, but after that, I never been down the road next to there. So I literally had zero clue where we were at. And it was in the middle of nowhere. Cornfields on either side, and just completely abandoned. No farmhouses. There was lights in the distance, but I think that was from, the other towns or houses. But other than that, had zero clue where our location was. So, and we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's like a horror movie, dude. I'm serious. I got one bar on my phone and stuff like that, and I'm nervous as shit, because I don't know what the hell's gonna go on. And what happens is, you could see the headlights, and we're just driving down this road, and all of a sudden, I see a car with zero headlights on, and it's just sitting there. And my first thing is, I think it's okay, it's one of these cars that just broke down, because that happens a lot. So, and I think wrong. I think completely wrong. Because the next thing you know, as soon as we start getting close to the car, our lights turn off too. Brad was driving, he turns the lights off, and then I knew, oh fuck. we start going slower and slower, and to the point where what happens is we stop right next to the window and stuff, and it's an old beat up car, completely beat up and stuff like that. So it's really not, of course, you know, it's a fucking drug dealer and stuff like that. But what happens is, I don't hear any of the conversation. I don't think there was any conversation. My heart was beating like crazy when this happened, and it started, you know, just kind of freaking out in a way. But like, I was calm and stuff like that, and because, you know, if one wrong move and then we're fucked, all of us. And next thing you know, we're, you know, all hanging out in there. No words are said. And then I kind of see like a baggie just, you know, go through the window. And it was like, you know, when you get a package from Amazon like that, it looked like that. It was a little bit like a baggie like that, like a, you know, a shopping bag or something like that. Gets in, they Brad nods to him, and we kind of just, at that point, what kind of really scared me the most, I would say, was because when we like got past him and we started leaving, we stopped, and like we watched the guy leave, and he floored it. He like floored it out of there, and that was it. That was completely it. I mean, I I had no words, and then we got back probably around 2 in the morning to Derek's house. I think I said it was Derek's house. I know that it was Derek's house, and I got home around like 3 in the morning, which my parents didn't care. Like, I walked in and they were asleep, and then well, I told them when I was on the way home and stuff, and they were like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, they were okay with it, and I mean, I learned a lesson. That was the only one time I did. Really, after, like, on Monday on school and stuff like that, what happened was, like, we never discussed it. We never talked about whatever happened. But Brad and I knew. Brad knew and stuff. We were all still friends in school like that. That night didn't really change how I viewed them. It really wasn't mainly them, but I kind of got a little bit of a taste of how it is, and hell, I would never experience all that. But that's pretty much all of the story, how I hung out with Redneck Kids. I know it was a very long story, but hopefully it was entertaining for all of you guys. And if you definitely want more, you know, storytime videos like this, I can happily do it. I don't have many stories of myself, but I know a lot of my friends have stories that are really bizarre and insane. And like I said at the beginning, it was probably one of the greatest stories I've probably ever tell. It'll be hard to top this one, but hopefully you guys definitely enjoy this content. And if you want to, feel free, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.